Hey guys, me again. You know who I am. And today we're gonna have a little tutorial, I guess. So I'm gonna show you the most efficient way to get your game capture and your game capture software. Show you the most, or rather, I'm gonna show you the most efficient way to record. Okay, now there are several different recording softwares that people like to use, and I'm going to show you all of them, and I'm going to show you the one I use, and I'm also going to show you my settings as well. So first up, we have Fraps here, and Fraps generally is really good for recording. Obviously, it's very well known in the recording community. It captures super duper high quality, but the problem with Fraps is that file size is fucking enormous, dude. So unless you have like a big hard drive, then I'd probably recommend Fraps to you. Also, if you have the $37 that goes with it. I know there is a trial version here, but the trial version only lets you record for like 30 seconds at a time, which is fucking stupid. So, moving right along. XSplit, which is a counter to one of the other softwares I'm going to be talking about. I know the Gamecaster, I've been told this works well, so if you're not doing like face cam or anything, then maybe you could use this, but I don't use this, and I don't use this for a reason. Quality is okay, I guess, but the system requirements are hefty as fuck. Like, just for recording, you're gonna need like some i5, i7, something like that, and then you need fucking 8 gigs of RAM, which is crazy. So I generally don't recommend XSplit because the system requirements are fucking stupid, to be honest. And plus, I know most of you guys are running on fucking potato power, so that's obviously not going to be an option for you guys. Also, editing this video, I just realized I forgot to mention something about XSplit. Unlike all the other softwares that I mentioned, XSplit is the only one that has instead of a one-time fee where you like buy it and you get updates and whatnot, you have to constantly renew your license. So it's a monthly fee, and basically, that really sucks, actually. So, in my opinion, that's also a reason for it not to be worth using. Granted, it's like $8 a month, $9 a month for like the premium package or whatever the fuck. But still, it's a monthly fee, and I don't think that's honestly worth it, especially if you're just trying to record. And next we have DxStory. DxStory is pretty good. It's also the most one of the most customizable. It's not the, I would say it's the most customizable in terms of recording softwares. And also sometimes this can actually be comboed with streaming software, because some games don't like to stream like natively for some reason, or they don't work with the native, the game captures in the streaming software. So generally you have to combo this with another streaming software such as like OBS or XSplit. To record games like Combat Arms, like old games, stuff like that. But this is a really good recording software. File sizes aren't that big. It's not as big as Fraps per se, but you can still make them pretty big. And it costs like 38,000 Japanese yen, which is the equivalent to about 30 bucks. So it's, yeah, about $31 ish. So, pretty good overall, but it's not the one I use. And I've used it like once or twice, and it kind of craps out sometimes. Shadowplay and AMD Game DVR are two softwares that come with they come with a gaming grade graphics card, such as like an AMD or an NVIDIA one. Now, the AMD one, you can use this if you have the GCN architecture, so the 7000 series and up, you can use this software. I actually use this software because I haven't uninstalled it yet, mainly. And plus, it captures good replays, which is also part of their software. So, I don't actually record per se, because recording natively with this software doesn't work half the time, which is kind of a downer. I mean, it records, if you do get it to record, it records nice small file sizes in pretty good quality, but I mainly use this for replays for stuff when I don't have my recording software up. I just like to replay like a funny moment or something like that, and I can keep it. And then there's Shadowplay, which is the NVIDIA version for the green guys. The problem with Shadowplay is, well, you need I think it's 600. Yeah, a 600 series and up. Not only that, but it's gotta be at least gaming grade, so it'll tell you which ones support it. But it doesn't give the performance loss like Fraps does, so you're not gonna lose like frames while recording with this. But the problem is the file sizes are fucking enormous like Fraps. So I haven't tried this yet because I don't have enough hard drive space. Because if you can see I'm going to show you how much hard drive space I have now. You see, my operating system hard drive, I have like fucking 4 gigabytes left, and that's like only enough to play a game for what, an hour or something, because the temporary memory will fill up, and then I gotta close the game, and like it's a fucking mess. So I'm generally I'm getting a new hard drive, but I don't have much hard drive space to begin with. This is the one to keep my games on. I don't remember what I have on this, but I don't know. And then I have a bunch of other hard drives. Basically, I don't have much hard drive space to work with, so generally I'm not gonna go with Fraps or Shadowplay, even though both of these are completely free, and you can actually get this software without an AMD. You can actually get this on NVIDIA, but you have to download the Raptor version. And that's what basically this is. It's just a Raptor recording software. So I'm not too into that. I mean, and then there's this one, which is Bandicam. A lot of people recommend this. It's pretty good for the most part. It records nice small file sizes, and it records in pretty good quality natively too. The only problem I've heard about this is that it skips frames quite a bit. And if you're editing, say if you're doing slow-mo is going to stutter with this capture software, so I generally wouldn't bother with this. I haven't used it, or I used it like way back then when it was like really popular, like 07, 05, when YouTube was just starting out. I'd use this, but then afterwards I'd use Fraps. Fraps I used for my other two previous channels before I made this one. Fraps is pretty good. So, also I used Fraps with my very first video I put on this channel. I'll put a link to that in the description so you can see how it looks or whatever. And then there's this new option that people are pretty happy with. It's called Mirrorless Action, and basically it's essentially the same thing as Bandicam. But the only problem is that I've noticed, or people have been told, is that you can record screen, but only if you have Windows 7 or Windows Vista. So the Windows 8 and up guys are not going to be able to record screen with this. And some of the codecs, like the DirectX plugin codec, does not work with it, and it costs, I'm not sure what it costs. It costs like $30-$40. It's silly. And then, so you're generally not going to be able to get the full, use out of this. If you want the 30-day trial, I mean, I guess you could try it, see how it is. But this is not what I use, and it's generally not too efficient. It doesn't work half the time. The one I will be showing you today, guys, is OBS. Now, a lot of people don't like OBS for recording, and I can see why. But if you can make it work, and I'm going to show you how you can make it work, it works really, really well. Now, OBS stands for Open Broadcaster Software, and it's mainly for streaming. However, you can tweak it so that you can record with it as well, and you can actually record in pretty high quality. Now, also plus that this is completely free and open source. So basically, you can make whatever plugins for it that you want, basically. So it's open source, like I said. There are a bunch of mods for it. So there's a few I use for streaming, so I can put the chat up, and so other people can see with a chat in the corner or something like that. And also follower, I also have one for that. So, and it's on all platforms, unlike all the other softwares that I've showed you. This is on all platforms. The other ones are only on Windows. So if you're on a Mac or Linux, generally this is going to be your best bet. You got to use OBS multi-platform, which is it's basically the same thing. It's just a few updates behind it, and I've heard it's essentially the same. I've heard there's some difficulty with it, but like with multi-platform, but it's not different. From what I've seen, it's not any different. And you're not going to be missing a few updates. The updates are not major, so they're not going to affect recording or anything. So generally, I'd stick with OBS. Now, how do you make OBS record in really high quality and small file sizes and no performance loss? This is actually easy. So as you can see, I'm going to pull this over here. I'm actually recording with OBS right now. Oh shit, not going to do that because that makes a fucking portal to hell. But anyways, so this is what I generally use to record and do all my stuff in. And OBS can actually tell you if you've missed any frames. Generally, the only way you're ever going to miss frames is if your computer is running too hot. That's honestly the only way you ever miss frames while recording or streaming. Since I don't run on potato power, it's generally not going to do that for me, especially not when recording. I mean, and also this is very, very CPU intensive. Unlike the others, which are GPU intensive, this is why you get the performance loss. But CPU intensive, honestly, if you have a better CPU than you do a GPU, or if you don't have a gaming grade graphics card, then this is honestly the best thing you could ever have. Now, we're going to go into settings, and I'm going to show you my settings. You can also make multiple profiles here if you just change the name of this. However, I can't do that right now because I'm recording with it. So for encoding settings, I generally want the X264 encoder because it's tried and true, and you don't need like specific hardware for it to run. I can use NVIDIA Invent because I have an NVIDIA graphics card. And if you get a beta version of this, you can use AMD VCE, which is really, really good for streaming. But in recording, it's not so much. So, as far as the recording goes, I use quality balance 10. I don't bother with this. This is for streaming. So don't even worry about this unless you're going to go stream and do some streaming, whatnot. And I also put on a custom buffer size, and I set this to 0. Why would I do this? So that the buffer size automatically adjusts to the motion of the pictures, per se. So if I'm moving it around, you can see in the corner there, it's going up and up and up on the green area right here, where you can see all that stuff. But when I stop doing that, it gets pretty low. So basically, the buffer size automatically adjusts the motion of the picture, but the quality stays the same. And I have a pretty decent computer, and I don't want the file size to be too high, so I put this on 3000. 3000 is perfect. It's awesome. You can put this way, way higher if you want to. I mean, you can totally do that. Your file size is going to go up quite a bit. You can also put this to match, but I wouldn't recommend that, and it's not the most efficient way to do things like I'm showing you. So as far as broadcast settings go, you can switch between going live stream and file output only. For recording, you're going to want to put file output only. You're going to want to find a good place to put all your recordings so you can make a folder. I just put them directly on the hard drive, just anywhere on the or on the surface of my gaming drive. And you can also change the output. So you can also change it to MP4. You start out with FLV, but you're going to want to change it to MP4 or AVI. One of those two will work. This doesn't matter, so don't even bother with this. And then you're going to also want to change that too, because I don't know what that is, but don't worry about it. Next is video settings. You're going to want to record at a 16:9 aspect ratio. Generally, anything like outside of this will look weird or be a little bit blocky on YouTube. So you don't want to do anything other than 16:9. If you have to lower your monitor resolution to do that, then you definitely should, so that way your viewers get the best experience possible. I have a 1080p monitor, but as you see, I've downscaled it to 720p. That's because recording in 1080p has quite a bit of a performance hit on your CPU. So generally, I downscale to get that performance loss, and then I upscale it back when I'm rendering the video. And for filter, you can choose one of these. I just choose the best one because it looks the best, obviously. I mean, honestly, as far as quality goes, I haven't seen any difference between any of these. But if you're running on potato power, generally I'd downscale it. Or if you don't have a 1080p monitor, then I'd probably change your resolution to 720p or something like that. Or, yeah, basically. For that. And obviously, FPS, always record in 60. Because 30 FPS, it's not really immersive to the game, honestly. Especially if you're playing a PC game. As far as audio goes, you can just leave this default. I'm using actually a Rock Band microphone to record. Yeah, I know, it's kind of weird. Only cost me like $3 at like some random store. It was like some used stuff store. I don't remember. But you can also enable push to talk if you want on this, but I wouldn't recommend that. So, yeah, there's that. So obviously you're going to want to select your microphone here and your audio device. This is basically your speakers, so where you want it to go. I just leave it on default because, like I said, it's default. So, and it works. Generally, I mean, you're obviously not going to want this going to, like, say, a capture card. I'm not sure if that can be a thing, but find that out. You can just go to your volume thing and look at the name of what you see. But that's essentially it. And since this mic actually is not very loud, I have to multiply the sound by 2. So what you're hearing right now is twice the volume of the normal microphone output. So, because my voice is quiet and the games are very loud, like I said. And I have to turn it down, otherwise you will never, ever be able to hear me over a game. I've had this has been like some problems in my older videos, but it's not anymore. As far as hotkeys go, this is entirely up to you. Start streaming, start recording. I have it set to the number pad and the multiply symbol. Yeah, that's what I have it set to, but I generally never use this, ever. So... but I do use hotkeys for the game. What's it called? Damn it, game capture. There we go. I'm sorry about that. But for advanced, most of this stuff is default. Like, you're gonna want to enable multi-threaded operations or optimization because you don't want this running on a single core. It's gonna absolutely shit on your fucking computer. And it's not going to take full advantage of what you have. So, always keep this checked. Always. And generally, I use the CPU preset very fast. Because anything higher than this in your computer will actually fucking explode. Like, I'm not joking. For recording, you're going to want to keep this high. But for streaming, this will just default to main. And you should keep it at main. Don't put it at high for streaming. It's not worth it. Putting this any faster, I mean, it takes a lot to get to fucking slower, and very fast is the default, so honestly, don't worry about this. However, this has an effect on your quality as well, so just keep it at the default very fast, which is recommended. CFR, what is it? I don't remember if it's constant frame rate. Yeah, it's constant frame rate. So you're going to want to keep that checked. You're going to want to keep it at a constant 60 FPS, even though like your FPS may go down in the game, but while you're recording, it's still recording those 60 frames. I'm not sure how to explain that to you, but there you go. For custom 264 encoding settings, I use CFR equals 20. This is not the frame rate thing. This is something else. I don't remember what it does, but there's another video that explains it very well, and I'll link that in the description. I'll also link another a video in the description to show you recording quality between the different buffer rates and frame rates and all this stuff. I'm not sure what this does because this actually got recently added, but I generally keep that unchecked for recording. And allow stuff above 60 FPS. You can totally do this if you want. You can check this if you want. It doesn't have any effect on your... Generally, doesn't have really too much an effect. The only time you're ever going to want to keep this or have this checked is when you're like recording slow motion. So when you're recording like slow motion shots, you generally want to have your frame rate set, recording settings to set above 60, because then it looks a lot better. and not as stuttery or choppy. Because slow motion, you can basically see frame by frame by frame. So you want to have as many frames as possible to make it a smooth experience. Quick sync encoder doesn't apply to me. It generally applies to people that want to use the quick sync codec, which is generally for Intel CPUs, but I don't have an Intel CPU, so it doesn't apply to me and it doesn't work anyways. Browser, this is a mod. You can also have a noise gate for your microphone, where you just enable noise gate, and so when I stop talking, the mic will just shut off completely. That's what this does, but I'm not going to do that because I actually kind of like it, or like the open mic, and it's not practical anyways. And scene switcher is also, this is also, I think it's another mod, but anyways. And as far as stuff that you see here, so this is your scenes, right? You can make a new scene, add a new scene, basically, and it's like another profile, basically. So I wish I could show you like another instance of this, because you can basically, your scene is basically black, so you couldn't see anything. But all right, let me delete this real fast. Sorry about that. But anyways, your scenes is basically like, they're kind of like presets that you make yourself. So I have this one for HD recording, and basically I only have two things in here, which is my monitor capture and my game capture. I generally use this if I'm recording games, obviously, and if I'm recording the desktop, I use my monitor capture and stuff like this. This monitor capture is a little wonky, and you have to like restart OBS a couple times to get it to like work properly, or to get configured to resolution sometimes, but for the most part, it's pretty good. Now for game capture, I have my own settings for this. So you can actually have this go by application. So how you record with this is you have to like start the software, right? You have to go into the game, and then you have to like alt tab out of it and choose like one of the applications that you want it to record or something like that. And then it'll like do that. And then once you see the, sorry about that. Once you see the program on your OBS, then you know you're recording with that. But I don't do that. I generally record with a hotkey, and since I have two monitors, I can see if it works or not, and if it doesn't, I can just alt tab and do it the other way. But I have mine set to the numpad minus, because it's easier. I mean, you can set this to whatever you want, but generally this is what I have it set to. And there are a bunch of like patches for some games, like you can also stretch image to screen, which I might recommend. Say if you are not recording in 16:9, I think I've used this a few times. I've used this in streaming mainly, but streaming is pretty good. And then there's anti-cheat hook, like for games like they have like a anti-cheat engine, something like that. It's like it loads separately from the game, then you'd probably want to check that. But other than that, you generally don't want to mess with anything other than this. And you're gonna always want to keep this checked, because this is default checked, and obviously you don't want to not capture your mouse unless. However, your mouse doesn't like show up in a game, so don't worry about that being a problem. And monitor capture, like I said, you should probably just leave it at default for now. And you want to put your subregion to the size of your monitor. But yeah, that's basically it. So that's how I record in such small file sizes. So let me show you how small the file sizes actually are. And generally, I have like my recording, some of my gameplays, gameplays. They name themselves automatically. But I generally have a lot of them here. I have to delete some of them every now and then to keep like file size down. But I think this one was announcement related. One of these was announced. Oh yes, this is the one about Yandere Max. So if it's not like more than 20 minutes, as you can see, it's generally gonna be like less than a fucking. It's gonna be way less than a gigabyte. This is like a seventh of a gigabyte right here. A seventh. Well, not a seventh. It's like I don't know. It's 7 megabytes. So very, very, very small, and it's in really good quality if you've seen the actual video. Now, if I record for a little longer, it's gonna be like half a gigabyte. This is an 18-minute long clip right here that I have of like unedited footage right here, and it's only half a gigabyte. It's not even that big. The only time it'll actually get big is when you edit stuff, and I might have a video for that later if you guys actually want me to show you how I edit and how everything works. But for the most part, very small file size, very good quality, and that's how I do it. I have other videos linking to like how to stream with this software, and I also have another video showing like different comparisons between encoding settings and bit rate and stuff like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.